Buckle up, folks, because Roadshow News Recap starts right now, and there is plenty to discuss this week, including a new Lamborghini Countach. No, we didn't travel back in time. The nameplate is returning once again. A Ford is going to replace every single Bronco molded in hardtop because apparently they aren't up to snuff. Chevy also teased the upcoming all-electric Silverado pickup truck, though in fairness, it showed us almost nothing. Stick around for that. The Bowtie brand also created a super weird apple pie hot dog mashup, which we have to talk about. And finally, Audi revealed its Sky Sphere concept, and I can't wait to hear what you guys think of this vehicle. Sean and I both have some pretty strong opinions about it, I think. But before we dive into all of that, I just mentioned his name. Gotta say hello to you, Sean. Sean Szymkowski, the Roadshow News Editor. Great to see you again, and Happy Friday.
Yeah, happy Friday to you, Craig, and happy Friday to everybody watching with us. And if you're not watching with us live, hello, and hope you're having a nice weekend. But yes, happy to be here. Welcome to the Roadshow News YouTube channel and our Roadshow News Recap show. Please subscribe if you haven't already, because we love interacting with you guys, chatting with you guys, reading your comments. We do read them, all that good stuff, so we appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, absolutely. But we're going to dive right into the big topic, which of the week, it happened today, believe it or not. That is the Lamborghini Countach. And this 1980s poster car hero is back. I didn't have one of these on my bedroom wall, but I guarantee you a lot of people did. And it's an iconic car. And the overall thing for me, I think Lamborghini nailed it. I think they did an excellent job bringing this car into the 21st century. The design is just what really gets me, because traditionally I think modern Lamborghinis are so overstyled. Nobody knows when to put the pen down, and it's just like lines and angles, and it never stops. This car, to me, it looks like they're like, we're going to stop.
Creases.
It's simple.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Yes, it's definitely, by Lamborghini standards, pretty clean, right? There's not too much going on, although there are, of course, some Countach styling elements with the front end being sort of very wedge-shaped. You've got those cutouts in the doors, which are pretty big, maybe a little too large. But, yeah, definitely some retro touches going on here, Sean. But honestly, for me, maybe it's the fact that I don't really care for supercars. This doesn't do a whole lot for me. This is my not take, if you will.
Yeah, I'm not a huge supercar person either. Like, they typically don't get me like crazy excited, but this one for me, I don't know. It's hitting a little bit differently. And I just chalk it up to the fact that it looks so simple for a modern Lamborghini. I just think they did an extraordinarily great job with the design. And I said this earlier in the week because this car leaked out a little bit early. I think 2 days ago, some images started circulating. The front end also reminds me of a Lamborghini Diablo. Like and I really like that car a lot.
Okay. So maybe that's why you do like the reborn Countach. It's got your favorite Lamborghini sprinkled in there a little bit.
Yeah. Yep. I think that's where a lot of the love comes from for me.
But what do we got under the hood of this thing, Sean?
Under the hood, well, this time with the Countach, we're talking about a hybrid powertrain.
So there's some connectivity issues.
Oh no. Craig, are you still with me? All right. Well, I think Craig's having some connectivity issues, like you may have heard there.
Bear with me.
We're gonna dive.
I'm here. Can you hear me now? Am I still there?
Yes, sir. I can hear you. All right. Well, Craig gets that
maybe
sorted.
The internet had a mini stroke, and it's coming back now, hopefully.
We're going to dive into what's under the hood right now. Like I said, this is a hybrid powertrain this time. There's still a V12 under the hood, but this borrows technology from the limited production Lamborghini Sion. So there's a supercapacitor in there, and it's not like a lithium-ion battery. These are lighter. Lamborghini really likes this technology a lot more because it saves weight. In total, with the hybrid and the internal combustion engine, we're looking at 800 metric horsepower, which, by the way, the Lamborghini Countach, its full name is, and I have to read it because it's a jumble of letters and numbers, is the Countach LPI 800-4. The LPI, if you'll bear with me, it's Italian, is longitudinal postieri ibrido, and basically that in English is mid-mounted longitudinally mounted engine, something like that. That's a terrible translation for what I'm sure sounds like really pretty Italian that I could never pronounce. So but yeah, we're looking at 800 metric horsepower. That's about 789 horsepower in the way we would measure that. So it's going to be plenty powerful. And 0 to 62 miles per hour in 2.8 seconds. That is going to be properly quick for a supercar. And it's just, you know what? It really does a great job of bringing the Countach into the modern era. And like I was saying earlier, you know, the Countach wasn't a poster car for me, really. That was the Lamborghini Diablo. And I really loved that car. But in fairness, the Diablo would have never walked if it weren't for the Countach's wedgie shape. So really, it comes back to the Countach all along. And while we think of the Countach as an 80s supercar hero, this Countach that Lamborghini debuted today, it actually marks the 50th anniversary of the Countach concept, which first came out in 1971. Then it took a while for Lamborghini to get that to production. So that's the milestone they're marking with this car. And another nod to that car is they're only going to build 112 Countach examples. That is in a, like I said, a nod to the original Countach's code name, which was LP112. So 112 examples. That is it. I believe I heard from one of our colleagues here at Roadshow who's on the ground at Pebble Beach, Monterey Car Week, where this car is going to be shown in the metal, that the car is already sold out, which is not surprising. And like all of these things, if you have to ask how much it costs, it's way too expensive for you. The Sion, for example, was about $2.6 million.
Yes. What are they asking? 2.6 million? Yeah.
Hi there, Craig. You're back. The Sion they were asking about 2.6 million for, I believe. And so this one I would bet you is going to be a lot more with the Countach name attached to it.
Probably such a legendary nameplate. But if you guys can hear me, hopefully, fingers crossed the internet keeps working here. It might have had just a little bit of bad gas, let's say. We'll move on to the next story, perhaps, which is about the Ford Bronco. Everyone's favorite reborn retro-inspired off-roader. Ford has an absolute blockbuster on its hand with this vehicle. They've sold a ton of them, and there's huge buzz around the Bronco, yet they're having another quality-related issue. Ford has not had the best track record of launching new products of late. I mean, we've talked about the Explorer and the Aviator having something like 11 or 12 recalls, which is frankly crazy and unacceptable. We're not there yet with Bronco, so hopefully they've turned things around. However, the issue with this vehicle now is the molded in color hardtop. Apparently, they're going to go ahead and replace all of those because they don't live up to the automaker's standard. Their cosmetic quality isn't good enough, whatever that means. But the question I have is, if these hardtops were not good enough, why did they build vehicles and sell them with hardtops that aren't up to snuff? It seems like a no-brainer to me. If these parts aren't good enough, you don't put them on the car. Save yourself some headache down the road.
Yeah, I spoke with Ford this week about this, and they said their supplier for these hardtops is Webasto. And they said that Robusto is having a really hard time keeping up. They're trying to build the Bronco as quickly as possible. They said that the supplier is looking at a second production plan to try and expedite this process, but really it just I think it comes down to building things too quickly. They roll off the production line, people get them, and they're like, hey, this is already looking a little crummy. Because I believe there was a few like forum posts on some Bronco forums about people being like, what's up with my molded in color hardtop? And clearly that got Ford's attention, and rightfully so. This is probably their biggest launch in a really long time for a brand, not a brand new nameplate, but you know what I mean? Like a new vehicle. The Bronco's been gone for so long.
Yeah.
Sure.
And the excitement around this vehicle is insane.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's
so
theirs to snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory at this point, right? Like they've had a runaway success. All they have to do is screw it up now.
Yeah. They'd mentioned, I think they sold about 3,000 so far is like the amount of Broncos that have gotten into people's hands. Just really the big bummer is that, Craig, I think you're going to get into, is that a lot of people aren't going to be getting their Broncos this year after all with this issue.
Yes. So the bad news is if you don't have a build date for your Bronco yet, or it's not scheduled for production, your Bronco will now be transformed magically into a 2022 model year vehicle. So that's pretty disappointing if you were hoping to get a Bronco sooner than later, and you've obviously reserved one. Production is scheduled to start late in December 2021 for those 2022 Broncos. But just to back up for a second, Sean, do we know what the quality issue is with these molded in color soft tops?
I didn't. Ford was, trying to put more of a positive spin on it. They're doing everything they can. If I recall from what I saw on the forums, I think it was like peeling or like flaking or something like that. There may have been like this weird like pattern that looked like it was coming through. It was something like that.
Okay, so not something you want on your new $40,000+ SUV.
No.
Yeah. So hopefully Ford and Webasto can fix this. They'd better, or people are going to be pissed. So yeah, hopefully they'll fix it. And Ford is saying, my bad, sorry for the inconvenience. I guess they're handing out some merchandise and or offering price protection, but dealers sell the vehicles and set the prices. So I don't know how Ford can guarantee a price, but maybe they'll offset the cost of any markup that a dealer puts on it. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, they'd really, I think they were just saying, because dealers can do whatever they'd like. I think what they were getting at was, oh yeah, absolutely. I think what they were getting at is if we increase the price of the Bronco for the 2022 model year, you're going to pay the 2021 MSRP. So,
yeah, well, that's a good thing. You can't argue with that.
Definitely. Yes,
so
absolutely.
We got a commenter in the chat, Gerg Hurlg. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. Sad that Europe don't get the Bronco. The Wrangler is available here with the 4xe powertrain. And the 4xe powertrain is quite good. I tested that recently. The ability to creep along on electric power out on your favorite trail without, disturbing nature. You can put the top down, listen to the birds chirping. Lots of low-end torque. It's a great solution for off-roading. So it's good that Jeep offers that on the other side of the Atlantic. And I wouldn't be surprised if Ford follows suit with the new Bronco, although obviously they've got some production issues to sort out first and lots of orders in the homeland to fill before they expand globally. But I would not be surprised if this joined some of the other iconic Ford nameplates in other markets. So fingers crossed for you guys. If you are watching, thank you so much. Leave a comment in the chat room. We love to interact with you guys. Also, consider subscribing to the Roadshow News YouTube channel. That way you never miss any of our latest video features and live streams, which happen every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. So you can tune in for those every week. But we had a bit of Ford news there, Sean. Crosstown rival Chevrolet is making some waves as well. Why don't you tell us about it?
That's true. This week, Chevy gave us our first taste of the Silverado EV. We don't know if that's going to be its final name. That's kind of just what we're referring to it as. And its hook with this was it's going to have 24-inch wheels.
24 what?
24-inch wheels on some trim offered in some way, shape, or form is what they said. And the other thing they said with this was it's going to have a 4-wheel steering system. Sounds like that might get, or they may borrow that from like the Hummer pickup EV kind of thing. But yeah, they didn't show us
steering
really.
Is believable. 4-wheel steering makes sense, but 24-inch wheel, why? Why do you need that?
I don't understand why you would need 24-inch wheels. That's like, a pickup truck's supposed to be more of a rugged off-road thing, and I don't know what kind of tires are you slapping on 24-inch stock wheels. I don't know. Well, surely they figured it out. Yeah. The engineers know better than I or you or most people. Yes. So I'm sure it will work, but it sounds absurd. But we'll have to wait and see until they're ready to show more, because Chevy didn't show us a whole lot else other than a quick clip of it doing circles, and they kind of showed the wheel kind of closely. But aside from that,
not a lot to see.
There wasn't a lot to see at all. But I mean, this is going to be a big thing because this is going to compete with Ford's F-150 Lightning, which made a huge splash earlier this year. We learned previously that Ram is working on a full-size electric pickup, and then obviously we have your non-traditional automakers, the startups like Rivian, and Tesla isn't a startup anymore, but the Cybertruck, so it's going to be a very crowded space very, very quickly. And this is going to be Chevy's entry into that. And they said they're going to have retail versions for anybody to purchase. And then there's also going to be like the commercial oriented ones, just like the F-150 Lightning Pro. So that was interesting to see too.
Pretty familiar strategy there. I wonder where they got the idea from. I can't imagine.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see, because again, we didn't get a lot of information. We know it's going to ride on the Ultium platform. All of these new General Motors EVs are going to have the Ultium battery. So we're looking at probably over 350 miles of range. And I say that just because if the Hummer EV pickup can do 350 miles, surely the Silverado will be a little bit lighter, perhaps, than the Hummer.
Then what, 9,000 pounds or whatever the Hummer weighs?
Yeah, it is. It's something like 9,000 pounds. So surely it will be a little bit lighter. And Chevy was also keen to point out that this Silverado EV was built from the ground up to be an electric vehicle. So we're not looking at, it seems like, Ford's strategy was this is an F-150 that happens to have a battery. This sounds like this is a clean sheet. Like you're not going to be getting a traditional Silverado that has a battery and electric motors. It sounds like it's going to be a totally new, shape, design, engineering, etc.
It'd be interesting to see what that does to the price tag as well, because the Ford strategy, the Lightning, starts at about $40,000 because it's basically an F-150. They obviously made changes to accommodate the battery pack and motors and everything, but by and large, the truck is the same as an F-150. So if Chevy's going to be all new, a totally different platform or structure or whatever, it'll be interesting to see how much it costs, because that's how Ford is able to get the price so low, because they have such mammoth economies of scale building the F-150 and the Super Duty trucks, of course, which also share a lot of components.
Yep. Yeah. It's going to be very, very interesting. And I've said it once, I'll say it again, until we get more of these trucks on the market. If automakers can't sell Americans electric pickup trucks, I don't know what kind of EV they can sell them other than a Tesla.
Yeah, it's all hope is lost. I guess we'll just be roasting the planet even worse than it is now, apparently. But we'll see. We've got another electric car to talk about, Sean. Can you believe it? Or maybe it's like two cars in one.
Yeah,
Get
something
your money's
like that.
worth. Yes, it's the Audi Sky Sphere concept. So this actually kind of morphs. It's like a transformer. It sort of slides or collapses in on itself. And they say it's the size of an A8L sedan when it's stretched out, and then it's as small as an A5 when compressed. So why? I mean, what is the point of this? Well, Audi says the long version is designed for level 4 autonomous driving. So basically completely hands-free. The vehicle does all the work. And then once it compresses inward, it's designed to be more of a sports car, which I don't know why you can't just have the level 4 autonomy with the sports car sized vehicle. Like, what is mutually exclusive there? I don't understand. But anyway, the vehicle extends or retracts by up to 9.8 inches.
And it's
again,
ugly.
I have no idea why. It's they teased this a while back, if I remember, Sean, and like, oh, that might be an exciting new product from Audi. And then they did this. And I don't know what to say. Probably don't have anything nice to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's not.
There's some aspects I like.
I think the front looks really, really nice. I think the interior looks pretty cool. You know, that's like super futuristic. I think I said when we saw this car, it looks like a German Batmobile.
Yes, you did in Slack.
Yeah.
So with to mixed results, some other Roadshow staffers agreed. I happen to agree with you. Others actually love the car. So to each their own. Light up grille that goes from side to side. You can see they're very distinctive wheels on this car. Not attractive overall, but there are elements to this thing that I do like. The front end is very nice. Like you said, Sean, the interior looks great. But there's something off about it, and I don't know what it is. We don't need, Sean. That's my stance.
Yeah. They were supposed to be taking inspiration from a 1930s Porsche, and I don't know where that comes through. I just don't see it. I don't know. Maybe the proportions, like the overhangs, is what they were kind of getting at.
The long hood, probably, but that's about it.
Yeah, it's very, very vague, if anything, and yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of a miss for me overall with this thing.
Yeah, but they're claiming the car has an 80 kilowatt hour plus battery pack for 310 miles of range on the WLTP cycle in Europe. So expect that to be significantly less in the US on EPA testing, because ours is apparently more strenuous. You also get 624 horsepower, 553 pounds of torque, and the car can go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, 62 miles an hour in a very respectable 4 seconds. Curiously, though, this machine is rear-wheel drive. That's right, no quattro is available, which is incredibly odd for Audi.
Why?
Since they hang their hat on offering all-wheel drive.
Yeah, I asked why. I don't understand. I just don't get that. It's such a weird decision. Like, Audi's super well known for all-wheel drive. With electric cars, it's easier than ever to create an all-wheel drive system, and then Audi builds a rear-wheel drive thing, slinky car.
Yeah, slinky car. That is very good.
I just really don't understand this concept.
There's so many questions, but supposedly they're going to they're investing in this shape-shifting tech for future production cars. So perhaps it will move beyond the realm of concept to something that you can actually buy at your local Audi dealership. But we will see, because I don't fully understand the benefits of having something extend or retract, but maybe there are some that I'm just not aware of.
All right, here comes
one
of my off ramps really quick, okay? My mom doesn't even like, in her 2019, 2020 Honda Civic, when that you go to turn right and the camera pops up on the infotainment screen. She doesn't like that. She doesn't like when the car corrects itself, when you like bounce off the line a little bit and it like beeps and turns you back in. I think she would be very upset if her next car could go longer or shorter. I think it would not go well with her. So I don't know. Maybe let's focus on making these, like, some of these technologies a little bit more user friendly for some people who aren't as well versed in automobiles before we start making them shapeshift.
Exactly. Like my parents, they don't even use cruise control. So
Yeah.
there you go. Good luck with a 13.2-inch infotainment screen and, super cruise or lane centering or whatever else. It ain't going to compute. Just, why is the car fighting me?
Yeah. Oh boy. It's going to be interesting. But what else is interesting is our next topic that also comes from Chevy, but really has nothing to do with cars. It's Chevy's apple pie hot dog. And it's real weird. And here, let's see Guy Fieri tell us about it really quick.
First, pie crust. Kind of roll that out into a rectangle, and then some bacon jam, getting your bacon nice and crispy, and then cooking it down with a little brown sugar, a little honey, and apple cider vinegar. Apple pie filling. I imagine you probably have an awesome apple pie filling that your grandma used to make, but if you want to get that canned stuff, it's fine to use in this regular hot dog. I'm going to brush the edges of this with some egg wash, and you're going to have to stretch that top piece because you got to work over the top of that hot dog. Give it a little crimp, raw sugar, little pie spice on top of that. Pop it in the oven, 350, 18 to 20 minutes. Here's the final steps. 50-50 apple pie filling and yellow mustard. Some crumbled
That's
bacon.
the worst part right there.
The apple pie hot dog. You're going to dig it.
Baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet.
Why didn't he use like stitching like on a baseball to incorporate the baseball element?
Well, here,
You
hang
could have
on. There
sewn
is
it
a
right
baseball element. There is a baseball element to this.
Is that the hot
Chevy
dog or what?
No, I mean, I guess you could say that, but the baseball comes into play with Chevy was sponsoring the MLB Field of Dreams game in Iowa. It's like at the same field where the movie was, from decades ago. And the game was yesterday, and they were serving these apple pie hot dogs exclusively there. But if you weren't there in Iowa to have one, then Guy Fieri's here to show the recipe, give you the recipe
How
so
you can
try
get
it at home.
sick at home.
I mean, all right, I don't like hot dogs. They're like the worst thing you can put on the grill, in my opinion. I can't stand it.
I like
disagree. Apple pie.
But you also don't like
apple
eggs
pie.
or peanut butter. So your food opinions are invalid.
It's a different show.
I'm sorry, Sean. Nobody should take food advice from you. I'm sorry, but it's true.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree at all. I'm tad picky sometimes, but so they serve these hot dogs there, and the whole idea was they were trying to bring back the baseball hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet. It was this explosively popular jingle from 1975. They had an ad, and it got crazy popular, and it just became kind of synonymous. Parallel with the brand, whatever you want to call it. And they wanted to bring this back for this, and they got Guy Fieri to make this recipe. And I don't know if anyone out there watches it, leave us a comment and tell us if it's good, because it seems pretty terrible.
We should do a whole video on that, making those. And just see how awful they are.
Well, all right. I guess I would be on board I'd be on board to try it, except for the 50-50 mustard and apple pie filling mixture. That just sounds really bad. Really, really bad.
Well, maybe the mustard just sweetens the the apple pie filling just sweetens the mustard up, because I imagine the mustard flavor would overpower the apple. So maybe it's just like a honey mustard or something. But I don't know. I don't feel like trying it.
Yeah, I don't want to try it, but there's a fun fact about this though, for you, Craig, or anyone else who watches. That 1975 jingle was so popular that it inspired General Motors' now defunct Australian division to create its own version of that jingle. And that would have been Holden. You can see a Holden book behind me. I have a thing for Australian cars. And the jingle down there was football, meat pies, kangaroos, and Holden cars.
Wow. Good day, mate.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, no, we're not going to do accents on the show. No.
Most annoying accent ever, by the way. No offense to Australian folks, but I don't care for the. I'm saying that because it's Evan Miller, our producer's apparently his favorite accent, and he's wrong.
Oh boy. Wow,
Yeah.
Craig, typically you say this, but I think on that note, we should wrap it up.
You know, that's not a bad idea, Sean. I'm eager to get my weekend going. So yeah, why don't we call it? Let's put a lid on this. So thank you again, Sean, so much for your expertise and help. And of course, we owe a big thank you to our video producer, Evan Miller, the man that makes all of this happen in the background. He handles the back end stuff, the YouTube, whatever, the live stream. I don't even know how it all works, how the internet and the tubes go together, but that's Evan's job. We thank him. And of course, thank you for watching Roadshow News Recap, where we dissect and discuss the most important car-related stories of the past week. And you can join us for the live broadcast every Friday afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Roadshow News channel, as well as on the Facebook. So make sure you check all of that out. And remember to like, subscribe, ring the bell if you're feeling generous. Do all of that stuff. It really helps us out, and it helps you out because the next time we go live, the next time we publish a video, you'll be alerted and you'll be able to watch it that much easier. Anyway, thank you again for watching. Have a great weekend, and we will see you next Friday.